Hello everyone, Nathaniel here from SuperGameCrashers and welcome back to Tekkit Classic. Welcome to episode 5. So, in the last episode, we looked at upgrading our machines, which as you can see I've moved them around. You can actually put, I think up to a maximum of 8 into these machines, but they need enormous amounts of energy to keep themselves going if you do that. We also made ourselves a nether portal where we went into the nether and got ourselves some glowstone, and we touched a little bit into Equivilent Exchange, but mostly we concentrated on red power. Now in this episode we're going to look at some tools that will help us in the long run with industrial craft. We're going to look into more complex machines in red power, and then we're going to look at a more in-depth view of Equivalent Exchange. So without further ado, let's get on with it. My voice is squeaky. Okay, so in Industrial Craft 2 there are a fair few machines that we have, and we need some equipment to help us use those machines. Remember guys when I said that if we used, say, this wrench on one of these machines, there is a 50% chance of us getting the machine or just getting a machine box. So we'd lose the electric circuit and all the bits that are used to make the machine on its own. Which isn't so much of a loss when we're rolling in ores, but it can be a bit of a pain if we just want to move the things around. So to get around this problem, we can make ourselves an electric wrench, which comes with a mode called lossless. When lossless is activated, it will use a lot of power from the wrench, but will ensure that we never lose the machine. And trust me, much later when we start getting things like what is known as a bat pack, which is a sort of wearable battery, this will become invaluable, especially when we have something like, 5 rotary macerators, and we need to move one to get to something behind it. Having a wrench will be invaluable, trust me. So to make an electric wrench is really simple. It's a battery, electric circuit, and a wrench. And it has to be an unused wrench. It won't accept a used wrench already, so unfortunately that's one of the downsides. So we'll make ourselves an electric wrench. And to make an electric tree tap is exactly the same thing, only you put a tree tap in the top right corner, and that's it. And of course these machines require power, so let's give them a little bit of a charge. It's 10,000 EU for every one of these devices, so they all charge up very nicely. And the tree tap is exactly the same, it's just a tree tap that doesn't break. And you can also activate a special feature, but if you do, you actually damage the tree. There won't be much point in doing this for much longer, as Equivalent Exchange will replace a lot of our natural resource generation. Now, I really don't want to rely on Equivalent Exchange. I know it can be very overpowered, but I will use it for building big projects. So if I needed a lot of materials for, say, a project, then I definitely want to look into using Equivalent Exchange. Okay, so those are the machines, and obviously with our drill we've actually got a nice set of tools. Fantastic. Okay, so we just put them away. Now we're going to look a little bit more into red power. Now I've picked out these specific items simply because in the next episode we will be building ourselves an EMC farm. And what is an EMC farm? Well, we'll get into that in just a bit. Okay, so in red power we're going to be needing 2 filters, 1 deployer, 1 timer, and 1 screwdriver. So a filter, as its name suggests, will filter out any object that you place into it. I'll actually put the filter down on the floor so you guys can see what it does, and you'll probably have a better understanding of what I'm trying to do. So 2 filters. Now I'll place the filter down, and as you can see, it's a pretty simple device. Basically, this is the input. Basically, items will come into this side, and this is the output. And a good way to check which side is which, if you're placing 2 machines up, is to look at this little black bit. So where this black stripe is, that is output, and where this is, that is input. And when this machine is activated, this little thing will flick back and forth, telling you that it is actually on. This is the reason why we need a timer, because we need it to turn on and then off and then on and then off over and over again. If I open it, as you can see, it distinctly tells me which way it is pointing. So this way. So in and then out. Basically, you put stuff into the filter, and if an item goes into it and it is in the filter, it will filter that out. If it's not, it'll usually back out of the filter and go a different way. So a filter is a great way of organising your items if you're using pipes. And of course, a filter will work with, when I can find them, pneumatic tubes. So I pop one down. See, really simple, really easy to use. Okay, so that's that. Now we need a deployer. Now a deployer, unlike a filter, will actually deploy items. I've already made one. I accidentally made one while I was collecting the resources, but we can use these resources for something else. So this is a deployer. Now the good thing about a deployer is that if it has something in it, such as if I were to put these in there, and I used a switch, and I found a stick. And a piece of cobblestone, and I'll make myself a lever, or a lever, if you want to be American about it, and pop that down. Watch. See? It deploys it. Now it doesn't, unlike a dispenser, which would just spit out the item onto the floor, a deployer actually deploys it in the real world. So it's like the right-click button. This is actually very useful because later when we build our EMC farm, we'll want this to deploy buckets onto a cow. And that will, of course, milk the cow, and then our filter will then extract the milked bucket out of where the cow is. And if we do this over and over again, we can actually generate a lot of EMC. So it's a very, very useful item. The next thing we're going to need is a timer. Now it looks really complicated, but honestly it isn't. If I type in timer, you actually require a few things for it. Now it looks quite complicated, but it isn't. Basically most of this is just redstone and stone and a couple of sticks. And here's what you need. These stone wafers, super easy. You take cobblestone, smelt it into stone, and then smelt it again. You get 2 stone wafers. To make a stone wire, it's a wafer with redstone on the top of it. Stone anode, same thing. 3 wafers and 4 redstone. Redstone torch, wafer. Stone, redstone torch, wafer. So it's really, really simple. And once you've got it, you put all these together, and you can make yourself a timer. And effectively what a timer is it is a redstone signal that will repeat constantly, and you can adjust the timing of the signal to whatever you want. And this will be very useful because at first when our EMC farm begins, it will be quite slow, and we want it to be slow so that when it gets fully charged we can switch on the timer and make it run faster. So we'll just show you it in action. So as you can see, the timer points one way, and once we have a screwdriver, we can rotate it any which way we like. The good thing about the timer is if you break it, you don't lose it. So let's put a filter down and I'll show you it in action. I've actually put the filter on the wrong way. Yeah. Okay. You see how the filter flicks on, and also this changes colour. Now the reason it's gone very dark is because the texture's a bit messed up with us being indoors and it being on unfamiliar things. Now the thing is, with a timer I can actually set this to be as long as I want. So if I wanted it to run for 500 minutes I could, but I won't, so I can lower it down, and now you see it goes really fast. And this is very useful for making EMC farms, because we want our EMC farm, once it gets up and going, to go very fast. So we'll just break that, and break this, and perfect. The final thing we're going to need is a screwdriver, and the screwdriver is really simple. It's a piece of iron and a stick. Much like, and basically what this thing does is it allows us to rotate these blocks. So if I plop this down and take my screwdriver, I can rotate it, and it will basically rotate in any direction that you want. It also has durability, which is a little bit upsetting. But much like the industrial craft items, we can actually make an electric version of a screwdriver, and it is aptly named the sonic screwdriver, like from Doctor Who. See? Super simple. And yeah, you just charge it and it'll never run out of durability. So it's very, very useful, very handy. Okay, so that's that done. Now we're going to go into Equivilent Exchange, and this is where the fun begins, the real fun. Okay, so let's go over to our Equivalent Exchange building. As you can see, both farms are now full. We are now growing full flax, which is useful. And into our Equivalent Exchange building. Equivalent Exchange. So last time we built a Philosopher's Stone, or a Pea Stone as I like to call it, and now we're going to make probably one of the best things about this, a transmutation tablet. And what this does is it allows us to take any item that has an EMC value and effectively record the item inside the tablet. I'll show you exactly what I mean in just a second. So let me just take all these and we'll make ourselves our transmutation tablet. And yeah. Okay, there's our tablet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the tablet on the floor. It is effectively like a half block, so it doesn't have it doesn't stand on anything. Maybe in the future we'll move it. The good thing about this is that, as you can see, I've got a torch. It has an EMC value of 9. If I put the torch in here, you'll probably notice very quickly it said learned. That means it now knows torches, which means if I need a torch and I don't have any torches available, if I say I didn't need this ruby pickaxe, which I don't because its EMC value, it's going to break anytime soon, I can burn it and get myself tons of torches. Look at that, fantastic. And it also stores any excess EMC value in there. Now later, probably in the next episode, or maybe the episode after that, episode 7, we will get a device which will allow us to extract the EMC out of the transmutation table and also switch this off. As you can see, it says matter. This basically means at the moment the transmutation table is stuck in a mode for matter. So anything that has physical being, such as torches or blocks or anything, I can make. But I can't make anything else. I can't make the other type of energy, which is called, well, energy. And in order to do that, I'd have to basically take all the EMC out of this by dumping, say, a random block. So if I took some sand, and I went back into the transmutation table, and I teach it sand, I can now transmute that into sand. And it says no lock. So if I put something like redstone or glowstone or any kind of, how should I say, any kind of dust that represents some form of energy, such as, well, anything really, it will say energy and it will allow me to transmutate dusts. So it's a very useful device. It can also be used to transmute energy into matter and matter into energy with the device that we will make probably in the next episode. So yeah. So fantastic thing, transmutation tablet, very useful, and as you can see, I didn't lose the Pea Stone when I made it, so yeah. The next thing we're going to make is an energy collector, tier 1. There are 3 tiers of energy collector. We're only going to make the first one at the moment, simply because we really won't need them until much later on. I probably think once we really start building our big projects, that's when I'll start building very big energy collectors. But the whole point of making an EMC farm is because energy collectors themselves can be a little slow. So we'll be just using this to demonstrate it. So an energy collector, as you probably can see, is a block of diamond. This is the reason why diamonds are very important, because if you want to get going with Equivalent Exchange, you really need them. It's the same goes for red power, as a lot of the items require what is known as red dope wafers, which are made from silicon boules, and in order to cut silicon boule into wafers, you need a diamond hacksaw. So before we could actually touch on any of the mods, I had to do a fair bit of vanilla Minecraft to get to this point. So yeah, so we need 6 glowstone blocks, which are very simple to make. Obviously that's vanilla. A block of diamond, that's 9 diamonds, a furnace, and some glass. So all vanilla stuff used to make them. And when we put all this together, we end up with an energy collector, which I shall plonk down in the corner. Boop. And yeah, this is it. Now you're probably looking at this digit's changing. This is because it's in direct sunlight. Basically, the tier 1 energy collector requires sun like for it to work. And if I shove glowstone on top of it or any form of light, it'll keep working throughout the night. Okay, so it's a little confusing, but allow me to explain. Basically, this collector is able to transmute items on its own, most notably coal and other such things. So if I were to, if I were to stick coal in here, it would then transmute that coal into something known as alchemical coal. But if I shoved something like, oh, I don't know, if I put coal in here and then charcoal in here, it would then translate that to coal, but it wouldn't go any further. It wouldn't go through the system all the way around. It would stay at coal because its target is set to coal. So it's quite useful. And I know it looks a bit confusing, but effectively, if it starts to fill up, it can stack everything on top of itself. And I personally don't use the internal systems of the energy collector, simply because later on, when we start collecting a lot of EMC, it'll be redundant. So yeah. The next thing we're going to be making is an alchemical chest. Now, as you can see, a normal chest is quite small, but a double chest is twice as big. What this is it's 3 times as big, so it is a very spacious chest, and it's very useful for storing large amounts of items. So let me just find the recipe. Alchemical, and yes, you can make alchemical bags, which is the same as the chest, but you can carry it on you. But the problem is, if you put a bag inside a bag, you'll never get the bag back out. It's a glitch in the system. I don't know if it's been fixed. I don't think it has. And you'll find out why we're making 2 in just a second. So let me just make this. 1, 2. And as you can see, it's got a very high EMC value. And what we're going to do is we're going to teach the table. There. So now it knows it. So all I need is 8,987 EMC, and I could make myself an alchemical chest. Now the reason I've made 2 is because we're actually going to need 2 to make our EMC farm. So the next thing we're going to touch on is alchemical coal. And effectively, alchemical coal is just coal, 4 coal with a P stone. You make alchemical coal. You use alchemical coal to make a special. I can actually find out for you. It's somewhere on here. I can't quite remember the names. I'm never very good with names. Go back. These are all decorative blocks. Where is it? It's here somewhere. I've probably gone past it, haven't I? Anyway, it's on there. And basically, you take 4 of these, you can make another version of coal, and then you take 4 of them and you make another version of coal. But the collector can make the coal. So if I take one of these, I can actually show you. Boop. It turned it into blaze powder. And it would basically keep you doing it over and over and over and over again until eventually we reach something called, I can't remember, terbium. I can't remember, but it's a terbium fuel, I think it's called, and that is used in making what is known as a Klein star. And this is the device that we can use on this to extract any leftover EMC. Mobius fuel, there we are. That was the other one I was thinking of. Eternilus fuel? I'm sorry, I'm not very good at pronouncing it. But yeah, you need all these different types to make a full one, which is very, very powerful. Look at the EMC value, 25 million. That's a lot of diamonds. I think that's like 12 stacks of diamonds, so it's a lot of stuff. So alchemical coal, very, very useful. And finally, we're going to need one of these, an energy condenser, which is a hell of a lot of diamonds, or 2 alchemical chests. Oh, I didn't actually show you what's in the chest. So if I open it, there you are, see? Massive. Lots and lots of storage space. Fantastic thing. It's just a giant chest, really, in a small area. And we'll probably end up using a lot of them later on. So if I do this, in a crafting table, we'll actually be able to make our energy condensers. And we need this for our EMC farm, which we'll end up building in the next episode. So here they are. This is an energy condenser. Basically, this works the same way as a transmutation table, only it will transmute anything into anything. So if I wanted, say, sand, I would target sand, and if I gave it a lever, it would turn the lever into sand. Fantastic, I now have 10 sand compared to the 5 sand I had. We actually need these because in the next episode we'll be building our EMC generator by using some cows. So now I have to go and wander off around the base to try and find some cows, and we will build our EMC farm. And I'm very tempted to build it right here, as we will no longer need these rubber trees. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It seems to me like it's gone very quickly. I'm sure it's probably like 20 minutes long. But in the next episode, we will build our EMC farm, and we will definitely look into beginning a brand new mod. I don't know which one I'm going to touch into next, but I will probably touch into decorative blocks, and more than likely I'll go into carts, but I might go into something else. I tell you what we'll do is we'll make our EMC farm, and then with that EMC we will make a start on Buildcraft, which is using quarries to mine up resources, and we'll start combining mods together. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and this is Nathaniel signing off from SuperGameCrashers, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye!